I killed my best friend. Not with my hands, but with the truth I buried deeper than her grave. And when the cops dragged me away in cuffs, screaming my innocence into the howling Chicago wind, my parents didn't even look back. They just whispered those words like a curse. "Don't come back here." Snow stung my face like accusations as I stumbled out of the station 3 days later. Acquitted on a technicality, but branded a monster. But the real killer? She was still out there, sipping champagne in her penthouse. The one who'd swapped our lives like we were nothing more than outfits in her closet. It started 6 months before that night, in the fluorescent hell of our shared apartment on the north side. Elena Vasquez, golden girl, tech heiress, the kind of woman who made men weak and women sharpen their nails. We were inseparable since Northwestern, sorority sisters who'd clawed our way into the cutthroat world of fintech startups. I was the brains, coding algorithms that could predict market crashes before the suits even smelled the smoke. She was the face, schmoozing VCs with that megawatt smile and whispers of disruptive innovation. Together, we built Apex Dynamics, an app that promised to democratize finance for the little guy. Bullshit. Mostly, our real game was insider trading dressed up in blockchain drag. But Elena had secrets, the kind that fester like untreated wounds. I'd caught glimpses, late-night calls to shadowy lawyers, offshore accounts she thought I couldn't trace. One evening, after too many Manhattans at the violet hour, she confessed over the clink of ice. Her father, Victor Vasquez, wasn't just a Silicon Valley ghost. He built his empire on embezzlement from immigrant workers, pocketing pensions while preaching the American dream. He made me who I am. Ava, she slurred, eyes glassy. You get it, right? Survival of the fittest. I nodded, but inside, something cracked. My own folks back in the suburbs, dad fixing Buicks, mom baking pies for church, had drilled honesty into me like gospel. Betrayal tasted like ash even then. The swap happened on a whim, or so I told myself. We'd been experimenting with this neural interface prototype from Apex, a mindfulness enhancer that synced brainwaves for collaborative creativity. Bullshit again, it was Victor's pet project. Reverse-engineered from black market DARPA tech, meant to let execs borrow focus from underlings. One rainy Tuesday, buzzed on Adderall and desperation to close a funding round, Elena dared me. Let's link up. Full immersion. See if we can think like each other. I hesitated, fingers hovering over the electrodes. But curiosity, or was it envy, won. We strapped in, the machine humming like a swarm of angry bees. And then, nothing. Blackout. I woke up gasping, staring at a ceiling fan that wasn't mine. Velvet sheets tangled around legs that felt too long, too smooth. My hands, her hands, reached up, manicured nails glinting under the chandelier light. Elena's penthouse. Her body. Panic clawed my throat as I bolted to the mirror, her sharp cheekbones, her raven hair cascading like a lie. Down the hall, in my old tank top and sweats, my body, our body, stirred on the guest bed, eyes fluttering open with my voice. Ava? What the fuck? It was her and me. The swap had worked too well. Our consciousnesses flipped like a bad bet. We spent hours in hysterics, then terror, trying to reverse it. The machine sparked and died on the third attempt, fried circuits mocking us. We have to tell someone, I said, pacing in her Louboutins that pinched like guilt. She know. Me in the mirror, shook her head. And say what? That we're playing Frankenstein? They'll lock us up.
Ava.
Or worse, Dad'll bury it. Victor. Of course. He swooped in that night, all silver fox charm and cold calculation, whisking us to his Lake Michigan estate under the guise of a team-building retreat. There, in a basement lab that smelled of ozone and old money, he revealed the truth. The device wasn't an accident. It was his insurance policy, a way to transfer legacies when the time came. He tested it on low-level employees, janitors turned VPs overnight. Their minds wiped clean after. You two are perfect, he purred, sipping scotch as Elena, in my body, curled against him like a cat. Ava's got the grit. Elena's got the grace. Swap back when it's done. And no one's the wiser. Done? The funding pitch to those Wall Street sharks the next week. In her skin, dazzled them with charisma I didn't know I had, sealing the deal while she, in mine, handled the code tweaks from the shadows. It felt like power, intoxicating and wrong. But then the crash hit. Our algorithm glitched. Or so they said, tanking client portfolios overnight. Billions evaporated. Fingers pointed everywhere. But Victor pinned it on me. Ava's code, he leaked to the press. His daughter the grieving whistleblower. Elena, safe in my body, fed the narrative, anonymous tips, forged emails. The feds raided our office. I was arrested for fraud. The fall guy for their empire. In jail. Awaiting trial. The betrayal sank in like Lake Michigan ice. Elena visited once, wearing my face like a mask, whispering through the glass. It's business, babe. You understand. Her eyes, my eyes, gleamed with Victor's ruthlessness. My parents? They believed the headlines. How could you? Ava. Mom sobbed over the phone. Dad's voice cracked. We raised you better. The trial was a circus. Tabloids screaming, fintech femme fatale, and when the judge tossed it for lack of evidence, they didn't celebrate. They disowned me. That snowy night, discharged into the whiteout, I trudged to their door in Oak Park, begging. Dad opened it a crack. Don't come back here. Slam. Snow swallowed my screams. I didn't go gentle into that good night. Rage was my compass, pointing straight to the Vasquezes. Huddled in a flop house off Division Street, nursing black coffee and frostbite, I pieced it together. The swap wasn't permanent. Residual neural links flickered in dreams, echoes of Elena's thoughts bleeding into mine. I could feel her smirks, her father's whispers. And buried deeper, a secret. The crash wasn't a glitch. Victor had sabotaged it deliberately, cashing out shorts to his Cayman accounts while pinning the blame. Elena knew, hell, she'd coded the backdoor herself. In my name. They'd framed me not just for the money, but to test the swap tech on a larger scale, mind uploads for the ultra-rich, immortality for the 1%. I was the canary in the coal mine, sacrificed to perfect their god complex. Revenge started small, guerrilla style. Using Elena's lingering access, biometrics tied to her face, which was now mine, I hacked Apex's servers from a public library terminal. Leaked docs first, whistleblower drops to the Chicago Tribune, exposing Victor's embezzlement from those immigrant pensions. Tech Titan's dirty laundry, the headlines blared. He lawyered up, but the damage stuck, protests outside his galas. Vasquez vampires trending on X. Elena, still in my body, played the loyal daughter. But I could feel her panic through the neural hum, like static on a bad line. Then I escalated. Controversial? Hell yes. I posed as Elena at a black tie fundraiser in the Loop, her crimson gown hugging curves that weren't mine, charming donors while slipping roofies into Victor's scotch. Not to kill, God. No, but to loosen tongues. Under the table, his slurred confessions recorded on my hidden phone, admissions of the sabotage, the swap experiments on disposables. I uploaded it anonymously to WikiLeaks that dawn, the city waking to scandal. Victor's stock plummeted. Elena called my burner from my old number. Ava. Stop. You're ruining us. Ruining me. Her voice cracked. And for a second, I pitied her. But pity's a luxury for the innocent. The decisions got uglier. I seduced Elena's fiancé, that smarmy hedge fund bro named Trent, in her own bed. Not for love, fuck that, but to shatter her facade. In her body, I whispered doubts into his ear. She's not who you think, baby. Ask about the offshore wires. He confronted her, me's old self, and the fight leaked online. A viral meltdown of tears and thrown vases. Elena, unraveling in my skin, started drinking, missing meetings, her GPA, my GPA, tanking at Northwestern's night classes. I watched from afar, a ghost in the machine, as she alienated our old circle. Mutual friends ghosted her, sorority sisters whispered, imposter. The Neuralink let me taste her despair, sharp as bourbon burn. But Victor? He was the Hydra. Every leak, he countered with spin, PR firms painting me as the jilted ex-employee. Delusional and dangerous. Bounty hunters tailed me through Wrigleyville dives. I dodged them in blizzards. Sleeping in church basements. One night, cornered in an alley off Michigan Avenue, a goon pressed a knife to my Elena's throat. Vasquez says hi. I need him. Ran. But not before slashing his arm deep. Blood on her manicure. My first real violence. And it thrilled like forbidden fruit. Controversial? The Trib called it Eris's vigilante rampage. Feminists cheered, conservatives decried, entitled millennial chaos. I didn't care. It was war. Climax brewed in the dead of February. A gala at the Art Institute under crystal chandeliers. Victor's redemption ball, ostensibly for immigrant aid, irony thick as fog off the lake. I infiltrated as Elena, diamonds winking like lies. She was there too, in my body, gaunt and wild-eyed, clinging to his arm. Our eyes met across the room, hers in my face, mine in hers, and the world narrowed to that electric hum. Ava, she mouthed, terror and fury twisting my lips. I cornered her in the coat check, hearts pounding like bass in a trap house. Swap back, she hissed, my voice gravelly from her chain-smoking habit. End this. I laughed, low and bitter. You first. Confess. Or I dropped the motherlode, every server log, every neural scan. Her hand, my hand, trembled on a pearl earring. Then Victor appeared, shadow in a tux, his grip iron on her shoulder. Enough games, Ava. He knew. Of course. The neural link went both ways. He'd been monitoring. What followed was chaos. American as apple pie and AR-15s. I lunged, not for him, but the fire alarm, pulling it to scatter the crowd. In the stampede, Elena and I grappled, bodies colliding in a mirror of our twisted fates. She pinned me against a marble pillar, my own strength betraying me. You think you're the victim? She spat, breath hot on her neck. Dad didn't frame you. I did. The crash? My idea. To cut you out. Take it all.
Lies.
Or was it? The link surged, flooding me with flashes, her coding the back door alone. Victor reluctant. Me oblivious. No time to process. Victor fired a silent shot into the ceiling. Warning. Screams echoed as security swarmed. I twisted free, kneeing her in the gut, fleeing into the snow-slick streets. Sirens wailed like banshees. Back in the flop house, laptop glowing, I hit send, the full dump. Apex's empire crumbled live on CNBC. Arrests at dawn. Victor in cuffs. Elena dragged from the penthouse in my ratty hoodie. Face a mask of ruin.
But the twist?
It hit like a gut punch the next morning. Holed up in a Greyhound station. Scrolling feeds on a stolen phone. Buried in the leaks, a file labeled Ava_Origin. Neural scans from the swap. Timestamps predating our accident. Victor's notes. Subject Ava initiated contact device. Motive. Access to Elena's inheritance. Sabotage coded by AV. Pre-swap. AV me. Flashes confirmed it. Envy I'd buried. Late nights tweaking code, not for good, but to edge her out. I'd planted the seeds of the crash. A what if that spiraled? Elena hadn't framed me. She'd covered for me, taking the heat until Victor twisted it. The betrayal? Mutual. The secret? Mine all along. I laughed. Hollow. As snow tapped the window like judgment. Cops would come. The link was traceable. Run? Fight? Or turn myself in? Claim the swap as delusion? The bus to nowhere idled outside.
Ending?
You decide. Hero. Villain. Or just another American fuck-up lost in the whiteout. The Greyhound's brakes hissed like a dying confession as it pulled into the Des Moines depot. But I was already off. Backpack slung over Elena's shoulder, my shoulder now like a noose. 48 hours since the gala. And the news cycle had chewed Victor's arrest into chum. Fintech fraud, the fall of House Vasquez. Elena's mugshot. In my face twisted with mascara-streaked fury. Plastered every screen from Fox to MSNBC. Daughter's dark secret, they called it. Speculating on sibling rivalry gone lethal since no one knew about me. The ghost in her shell. Good. Let them chase shadows. Iowa flatlands stretched under a gunmetal sky. Snowdrifts hugging cornstalk skeletons like forgotten sins. I needed distance. A reset. But the neural hum wouldn't quit. Elena's thoughts flickering like bad reception. Regret. Rage. A plea looping in Spanish her abuela taught her.
Perdóname.
Ava. It wasn't supposed to. I shoved it down. Bought a burner with cash from a pawned Rolex. Hers. Of course, and dialed my old number. No answer. Probably in holding. Lawyered up with Daddy's Rolodex. Revenge phase 2. Not destruction, but dissection. Victor's empire was gutted. But loose ends dangled. Board members. Enablers who'd scattered like roaches. I couch-surfed in a farm town outside Ames, posing as a displaced reporter covering the scandal. Farmer's wife named Gladys fed me pie and gossip. Her husband, a ex-trucker with a ham radio, lent me his rig for research trips. First stop, Silicon Valley, where Victor's dirty money had roots. Flying coach under a fake ID, Elena's passport. Photo a perfect match. I landed in SFO amid palm trees, mocking the cold I'd fled. The valley buzzed oblivious. Teslas zipping past billboards for the next unicorn. I rented a beater Civic. Drove to Menlo Park. Heart jackhammering. Victor's old mentor, a venture capitalist named Harlan Crow, lived in a sprawl of glass and steel, guarded by gates that screamed, "Fuck you, peasants." I buzzed as Elena, voice honeyed. "Harlan? It's Ellie." Dad sent me, urgent. He bought it. The Lek. Eyes lingering on her curves as he poured Merlot in his sunroom. Over small talk, Stanford alums bonding, he spilled. "Your old man's always been a shark."
Kiddo.
"That pension skim? My idea, tax write-offs disguised as philanthropy." I nodded, recording every word, fighting the urge to smash the glass into his smug face. Controversial? Harlan wasn't just complicit. He'd funded the SwapTech's early trials, guinea pigs being undocumented coders from the Bay's underbelly. "They signed NDAs," he chuckled. "What are they gonna do? Sue." I leaked it that night from a Starbucks anonymous tip to ProPublica. By morning, Valley Vultures trended. Harlan's fund hemorrhaging investors. Back east, the hum intensified. Elena's mind clawed at mine. Memories of our college days. Not poisoned yet, road trips to Door County. Belting Adele in a '98 Honda Civic. Dreams of changing the world. Was it all a lie? Or had I twisted it with my own greed? The file nod. My tweaks to the code. Subtle at first, then bolder. I'd envied her ease. The way doors opened without code or calculus. One night, half drunk on cheap rose, I'd typed in a vulnerability, thinking, just to see. See what?
Control. Power.
The crash bloomed from that seed, and she'd caught it.
Confronted me.
"Fix it, Ava," she'd begged. Instead, Victor swooped, offering the swap as redemption. Merge our strengths. Blame the glitch on a rogue actor. Guilt was a bitch. But revenge? Addictive. Next target. Trent, Elena's ex. Now lawyering for the remnants of Apex in a high-rise off the Mag Mile. I met him at the Gauge, that dimly lit Irish pub where power lunches turned to power fucks. In her little black dress, I was irresistible, familiar yet feral. "Missed you," I purred, hand on his thigh under the table.
He bit.
Hard, whisking me to his Gold Coast condo overlooking the glittering lie of the city. In the sheets, sweat slick and gasping, I coaxed confessions. "Ellie, your dad's toast. But I can save the IP. Just sign over your shares, quietly." Her shares. Mine. By proxy. I didn't sign. Instead, I drugged his Afterglow scotch, same roofie trick, and rifled his briefcase while he snored. Contracts. Emails. Trent had been siphoning Apex funds into his poker habit, using Elena's login, my login now, to cover. I forwarded it all to the SEC. CCING his wife. Dawn broke with his world imploding. By noon, he was trending as Finteca's fallen Lothario. Elena's link buzzed with her schadenfreude. Twisted into mine. Karma's a motherfucker. Huh. But the decisions weighed heavier. In a Des Moines motel, TV droning Fox News rants about woke witch hunts, I stared at my reflection, Elena's reflection, and saw the monster. I'd slashed a man, seduced a snake, dismantled lives without a trial. Was I better than Victor? The neural echoes whispered no, feeding me her pain, solitary in Cook County Jail. Inmates catcalling the tech bitch, guards turning blind eyes. My parents' disownment replayed, their faces etched in frostbitten memory. Don't come back. Maybe they were right. Iowa to Ohio. Greyhound hopping like a fugitive heartbeat. Cleveland's industrial ghosts suited my mood, rusted mills under perpetual gray. Lake Erie churning secrets. There, I tracked Victor's sister, Tia Vasquez, the family black sheep who'd fled to academia, teaching ethics at Case Western. Blood's thicker than lies. I cornered her in a campus cafe. Elena's smile disarming.
Tia.
Sharp-eyed and silver-streaked. Saw through it. You're not my niece. But I know who you are, the girl from the papers. Ava. She didn't call security. Instead, coffee turned to confession over spanakopita. Tia had suspected the swaps for years. Victor's vanishing assistants, mine's fried into compliance. He tested on me once, she admitted. Voice ash. Summer internship. 82. Woke up in a rival's body. Sabotaging from inside. Escaped. But the guilt. Her eyes mirrored mine. Haunted. Hungry for absolution. She handed me a USB blueprints for the reversal device, hidden in her tenure files. Fix it. For both of you. The drive back to Chicago was a blur. Snow-laced interstates hypnotic. Reversal meant facing Elena. Raw and real. But the twist file loomed. If I'd started the sabotage, was I the villain? Controversial choice. I could ghost. Let her rot in my skin. Claim a new life as Elena Vasquez. Jet-set phantom. Or merge truths. Risk everything for.
What?
Justice? Or just the end of the hum. Arrived at midnight. The city a neon bruise. The penthouse was dark. Cops tape fluttering like surrender flags. I slipped in through a service door. Elena's biometrics still gold. Inside. Ghosts, shattered vases, wine stains like bloodless wounds. And in the master, curled on silk sheets, her me. Elena in my body, gaunt as a specter, pill bottles scattered. She stirred as I approached, my eyes, flaring with hate. Come to gloat. No, I whispered. USB clutched like a crucifix. To end it, the basement lab reeked of stale ambition. Circuit boards charred. Monitors cracked like the Vasquez facade. Elena and I hunched over the jury-rigged reversal rig. Tia's blueprints taped to the workbench. My hands, her hands, shaking as I soldered wires with a lighter from her purse. Hold still, I snapped, voice echoing Elena's lilt.
She,
in my frame, winced, electrodes biting scalp. This better work.
Ava.
Or we're both lab rats forever. Trust? Non-existent. But necessity glued us. Two souls in stolen skins. The neural hum a constant tinnitus of shared sins. As the machine whirred to life, hacked from Apex scraps, powered by a car battery, it dredged memories unbidden. Flash, that rainy Tuesday, not just her dare, but my nudge. What if we really synced? I'd said, eyes on her trust fund glow. Envy? Yes, but laced with something darker, resentment for her silver spoon. My calluses from coding marathons while she networked brunches. The backdoor code? My fingerprint.
All right.
A test, I'd rationalized, to prove I could outsmart the system. Elena found it, confronted, deleted, or we're done. I didn't. Victor did, twisting it into their masterstroke. Why'd you cover? I asked now. Sparks flying as the rig overheated. Her laugh, my bark, rattled the vents. Because I loved you.
Idiot.
Sisters, remember?
But you.
You burned it all.
Love.
The word hung, controversial as a loaded gun. Had it been, or codependence? Two strays latching in the wolf pack of ambition? The hum surged. Her grief flooding. Jail isolation. My parents' radio silence echoing her own family's conditional affection. Victor's love was transaction, mine. Apparently, arson. The swap reversed in a scream of feedback, bodies convulsing, minds ripping free like Velcro. I slammed back into myself. Shorter limbs. Familiar freckles. The ache of old scars. Elena gasped in her own skin. Collapsing. Raven hair fanning like spilled ink. We stared. Strangers now. The mirror we'd been shattered. It's over, she croaked. But her eyes, her real eyes, said bullshit.
Not yet.
Victor's trial loomed. Federal courthouse in the Loop, a coliseum for white-collar gladiators. Elena wanted to flee Mexico. Her abuela's village. Start clean. Let the lawyers bury him. But I couldn't. The file. My complicity, it itched like untreated road rash. Controversial decision. Testify. Not as victim, but confessor. We both go down swinging. I told her over diner eggs at 3 a.m. The city slumbering under fresh powder. She nodded, reluctant, but the bond lingered. Neural scar tissue. Courtroom drama unfolded like a Scorsese fever dream, suits and whispers. Victor at the defense table. Silver hair slicked, eyes daggers. He played the patriarch, choking up about family legacy tarnished by betrayal. Elena took the stand first, composed in Chanel, irony, and spilled. The swaps. The sabotage. Her coding the kill switch. Gasps rippled. The judge banged for order. Then me. Your Honor, I started. Voice steady as Lake Superior ice. Elena's not the villain. I am. The gallery erupted, reporters scrambling. Victor's smirk faltering. I laid it bare. My tweaks. The envy-fueled glitch. How I'd let it metastasize. I bore the crime because I committed the spark. But Victor? He fanned it to inferno. Exhibits flashed, my code logs. Timestamps damning. Elena's testimony corroborated. Her voice cracking on, I protected her. Until I couldn't. The prosecution pivoted. Charging Victor with conspiracy, but offering us immunity for the flip. Controversial? Hell, pundits screamed snitch culture on CNN, while activists hailed whistleblower redemption on TikTok.
Me?
I felt hollow. Truth a bitter chaser. Outside. Post-verdict snow fell fat and forgiving. Victor convicted, 20 years. No parole, shackled and snarling as they led him away. Elena hugged me. Brief and bone crush. Her perfume jasmine and regret. What now? She whispered. I shrugged. Breath fogging. Therapy? Tequila? Figure out who we are without the masks. But revenge's aftertaste is paranoia. Weeks later, a hold in a Logan Square walk-up, my sublet. Reclaimed, I fielded calls. Book deals from Penguin. Podcast invites from Joe Rogan knockoffs. Elena ghosted to LA, finding herself in yoga retreats and script reads. The hum faded. But dreams didn't. Victor's laugh. My code cursor blinking like an accusation. One night, scrolling dark web forums, I found it, a thread on neural echoes, users claiming post-swap phantoms. They never fully leave, one posted. You're them. Forever. Decision time again. My parents' door loomed. Oak Park, a half-hour L ride. Snow crunched under boots as I approached, heart thudding like a glitch. Dad answered. Flower on his apron, pie night.
Ava.
Shock. Then arms. Mom's sobs muffled in my hair. We saw the trial.
God.
Baby. We were wrong. Forgiveness? Earned. Maybe. Over coffee and confessions. But as I drove back, radio humming NPR on ethics in AI, doubt crept. Had I really atoned? Or just rewritten the narrative? Elena's text pinged at dawn. Miss you. Coffee in the city.
I typed yes.
Then deleted. Then yes again. Bonds like ours don't snap clean, they fray. Controversial threads in the American tapestry of second chances and grudges. Spring thawed Chicago slow. Like a hangover lifting, mud puddles reflecting skyscrapers. Lakeshore Drive alive with convertibles and midlife crises. 6 months post-trial. And the Vasquez fallout lingered. Apex liquidated. Assets auctioned to startups preaching ethical AI. Victor rotted in Terre Haute, penning a memoir from solitary, The Swap, A Father's Reckoning, that my agent nixed for the film rights. Elena? She'd surfaced in pilot season. Typecast as the tech temptress in a Netflix limited series suspiciously autobiographical. We texted sporadically, memes about bad code. Inside jokes laced with shrapnel, but meetings? Deferred. Like taxes.
Me?
I grinded, adjunct gig at UIC, lecturing on cybersecurity ethics to hungover undergrads who nodded off mid-Snowden slide. Nights. I coded pro bono for nonprofits, apps tracking wage theft for gig workers. A nod to Victor's pension ghosts. It paid in ramen and righteousness. But the itch returned one April Fool's. Scrolling X in a dive bar off Clark Street. A post from @Vasquez Watch. Leaked audio. Elena's pretrial call to Daddy Dearest. I'll take the fall. But you owe me the tech. Attached. Grainy MP3. Her voice sultry. Scheming. Bartering for the neural patents. Rage rebooted. Hot and familiar. Was it Revenge 2.0? Or just unresolved code? Controversial. I drove to her Airbnb in Wicker Park that midnight, pounding the buzzer till she answered in silk pajamas. Hair tousled like a bad rom-com. Ava?
Shit.
It's 2 a.m. I thrust the phone at her. Audio looping. Her face crumpled, then hardened. Coffee, she sighed, leading me to the kitchen where pods hissed like accusations. Over mugs of Pike Place, irony. Seattle's clean slate, she confessed. Not denial, but context. The call was a bluff. To keep Victor from suiciding in custody, preserving evidence. I was protecting us.
Ava.
Again.
Us.
The word twisted, pulling at scar tissue. We talked till dawn, raw, unfiltered. The swap's ghosts exhumed. Her, the heiress hollow, chasing validation in spotlights. Me, the grinder ground down, envy's architect. We were both monsters, she said, tears salting her latte. But we can be better. Could we? The decision loomed, debatable as gun control debates on cable news. Merge forces, co-found a transparent tech co-op. Apex 2.0, no swaps. No secrets. Or sever. Let time cauterize? I chose messy middle, collaborate remotely. Her Hollywood schmooze funding my open source streams. First project, a truth verifier app. Blockchain audits for neural interfaces. Beta testers raved. VCs sniffed. Wary of our baggage. But Victor's shadow stretched. A letter smuggled from prison, penned in his elegant scrawl. Daughter's mine. The swap was gift. Return it to me, reversals incomplete. Feel the pull. Enclosed, a schematic. half-finished, promising eternal merge. The hum? Faint. But there, a tug in dreams. His voice whispering stock tips from beyond bars. Elena freaked, smashing the paper. He's gaslighting. Don't. Controversial choice, I replied. Anonymous P.O. box. What do you want? His answer, a meet. Foreclosure. Terre Haute loomed. Supermax fortress in Indiana's heartland. Elena begged off. Your funeral. But I went. Greyhound rattling through cornfields. Signing in as family consultant. Victor. Orange jumpsuit paling his tan. Grinned through plexiglass.
Ava.
My prodigal glitch. He spun tales. The tech's true origin. Not DARPA, but a Cold War defector's brainchild. Meant for espionage, souls swapped to infiltrate. I perfected it for legacy, he said, eyes gleaming. But you weaponized it best. Flattery or bait? He slid a micro-SD under the partition data dumps. Proof of my tweaks laundered through his shell core. Testify to pardon board. Say, Elena masterminded. Weary build. Temptation slithered. American dream distilled. Power. Absolution. But the twist reversed again on the card. A hidden file. Elena's real confession. Post-swap logs showing her amplifying my glitch into full crash. To teach you. Mutual sabotage. We were yin-yang villains. Each other's enabler. I pocketed it. Stood. Rot. Back in the city. Sirens wailing summer block parties. I confronted Elena via FaceTime. Her Malibu backdrop mocking my humidity. He sent this. Her denial cracked fast. I did it for us. To force the swap. Level the field. Tears streamed. You are slipping away.
Ava. The envy.
I mirrored it. Mirror. The word chilled. We'd swapped more than bodies, sins.
2.
Decision. Burn it all. I leaked the files, his, hers, mine, to The Intercept. Full transparency. Headlines exploded. Fintech sisters double cross. Backlash hit. Elena's deals tanked. My adjunct offer yanked. Protests outside my apartment. Cancel Ava signs clashing with Free the Visquezas from Crypto Bros. Controversial? Pundits debated for weeks. Redemption arc or self-sabotage. In the fallout, Elena showed up unannounced. U-Haul idling. Road trip?
Door County.
Like old times. I hesitated. Then yes. The Honda, hers, reclaimed 8 miles. Lake Michigan glittering absolution. We talked. Laughed.
Grieved.
Revenge? Circling back to root. Door County Peninsula unfurled like a bomb. Cherry orchards blooming pink against blue bay. Lighthouses sentinel to our wreckage. Elena's Honda hugged the curves. Windows down. Salt wind whipping regrets. We checked into a kitschy motel in Ephraim. Quilted beds and mini fridges stocked with Door County cherry wine. To us, she toasted that first night. Glasses clinking on the porch as sunset bled orange into the lake.
Us.
Fractured, but mending. Days blurred into therapy by immersion, kayaking Peninsula State Park. Paddles slicing silence, hikes through Peninsula Players' trails, where we unearthed buried truths like fossils. I hated you sometimes, I admitted, feet dangling off a bluff. Waves gnashing below.
The ease.
The inheritance. Like you got the cheat code to life. She nodded, picking at a scab literal from a thorn snag. And I envied your fire.
Ava.
The code that didn't need connections.
So I Pushed.
The swap was my way to steal it. Push-pull. The American hustle incarnate. Bootstrap versus network. Grit versus grace. Victor's legacy. But ours too. The sins we'd sown in ambition's furrows.
Nights.
We binged true crime pods on her laptop, dissecting cases like our own Enron ghosts, Theranos mirages. We're the villains who got away, she joked. But her laugh cracked. Got away? The leaks had branded us, job blacklists, doxed addresses, ex-mobs baying for justice. My parents? They'd thawed. Tentative brunches in Oak Park. Mom's pie a peace offering. Proud of your honesty. Kiddo, Dad grunted,
But his eyes said wary.
Controversial undercurrent. The hum returned. Faint pulses in sleep. Victor's Morse code from prison. Dreams of merges, not escape, but evolution. One dawn. Sweating awake. I Googled neural symbiosis benefits. Fringe papers popped. Enhanced cognition. Hive minds for collectives. What if? Elena caught me scrolling. Don't, she warned. He's poison. But curiosity, our old curse, nagged. Back in Chicago. Summer's swelter yielding to September crisp. Opportunity knocked. A co-op hackerspace in Pilsen. Cheat Code Collective invited us to keynote, from fintech fraud to ethical forge. The room packed, coders, activists, a few gawkers with phones out. We tag-teamed, her charisma unpacking the swap's horrors. My slides demoing safeguards. Q&A turned brutal. Was it worth it? The revenge. A kid in a Black Lives Matter tee. Elena fielded. No. But the truth?
Yeah.
Applause. Mixed with murmurs. Post-talk. A recruiter from XAI, irony. Elon's brainchild, slid cards. Your story's gold. Consult on neural ethics. Tempting. But Victor's echo warned, power corrupts. We demurred. Instead bootstrapping our co-op, open-source neural verifier. Beta live on GitHub. Donors trickled immigrant orgs. Ethics profs. Elena's Hollywood drought ended with a docuseries gig, my adjunct spot renewed. Tenure track whispers. But the twist inverted once more. Autumn leaves turning like loyalties. Victor's appeal hearing leaked online, new evidence. Witness recant. The witness?
Tia.
His sister. Pressured by family obligations. He walked. Reduced sentence to time served. Out by Halloween. Press swarmed his release. Tech titans come back? Elena called. Voice wire taut. We run?
No.
Confront. We met him at a neutral spot, Magnificent Mile Starbucks. Ironic anonymity in tourist throng. Victor. Grayer but unbowed. Sipped flat white like old times. Girls. No apology. Just proposition. The tech's evolved. Permanent merges. Immortality for the worthy. His eyes scanned us.
Hungry.
Join. Or I'll expose the full logs. Your tweaks. Elena's kill switch. Mutual destruction. Stalemate. Controversial crossroads. Take the deal. Become gods in his image? Or torch it final. Elena's hand found mine under the table. Squeeze sang enough.
Pass, I said.
We're done being your code. He laughed. Low thunder. You'll crawl back. We didn't. Instead, we went public, preemptive leak of his pitch. Recorded discreetly. Feds rearrested him dawn raid. Conspiracy charges stacking like cordwood. This time, no appeal. Elena and I, we signed the co-op lease that week. Pilsen warehouse buzzing with servers and dreamers. Ending? Debatable. Happy. Redemption arc scripted. Us toasting in a dive. Cherry wine from Door County. Tragic. The hum lingers. Victor's ghost in our code. Whispering, what if? Or just real, flawed Americans. Stitching scars into something stronger. Snow falls again come December. First flakes dusting the L tracks. I text Elena. Coffee? Her reply, always. The city hums on. Tense and tender. Our story unfinished.